Hey, what is happening, everybody? It's your old pal Mr. Butter coming back at you. The biggest release of the holiday season was today, at least in my opinion. The Jordan 1 Chicagos were the lost and found, dropped today on sneakers. It was a complete mess. I had a real hard time getting in, and I saw where a lot of people couldn't even get in and enter for a pair. About an hour or so after the drop, I still didn't know if I hit, but fortunately I was able to hit a pair for EA at my local Finish Line, and I went and picked them up. So once again, shout out to Finish Line. They have really been helping me out with W's lately. If you're into kicks and you feel like hanging out, then hit that subscribe button. Let's take a look at these Jordan 1 Lost and Founds. Alright, so if you're familiar with the channel, then you probably get tired of me saying I'm super into special packaging. I think Jordan Brand knocked this out of the park. They call them Lost and Found. Basically, the inspiration is that it's a pair of Jordan 1 Chicagos that were sitting in the storage room of a mom and pop shop from back in the day, back in the 80s. They gave us a top that looks like it's been worn already, and it's an orange lid, so it doesn't match the standard Jordan 1 box bottom. But again, that kind of hammers home the point that it's just a mismatched box. It's been in the back of a storage room. I like that they put these sale stickers on there. It looks like the one on the bottom said $64.99, and the one over top of that says sale. They also gave us some special paper that has a lot of the advertising from back in the day. You can see that there's Jordan 1s with a price of like $29.99, and there's that famous Jumpman photo where he's dunking the ball and the Chicago skyline is in the background. And there's just a lot of really neat old advertisements on the paper. I think that's super cool. And maybe my favorite part of the packaging is this fake receipt from back in the day. It's got a date of August 30th, 1986 on there. It's handwritten, and it says paid cash, final sale, Air Jordan basketball shoe. It says it's from Sandy Brothers. Apparently there's a lot of little hidden meanings, like a lot of Easter eggs on here, and I'm not sure what they all are, but I think that would be neat to look up and see what all this different information is in reference to. But I think this is such a cool touch. I was also able to reserve a GS pair at my local Finish Line, and it's got all the same bells and whistles. It's got the same stickers, the same mismatched lid, the same advertisement, and it's also got the same fake receipt on the inside. So I was really happy to see that they didn't just do that for the adults, they did it for the grade school pairs as well. The tag reads Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG. The colors are varsity red, black, sail, muslin. The retail price on these was $180, so it's up a little bit from the $170 price point, but I think these are well worth that. I would have paid $200 for these, honestly. Although that box is awesome, it's got nothing on these. Finally, I got my own pair of Chicago Jordan 1s, and I am a huge fan of how these came out. I just think they are gorgeous shoes. That color scheme, the color blocking, it's about as freaking OG as it gets. This is like the original Jordan that comes to mind whenever somebody talks about old Jordans. This is a grail of mine. I have always wanted a pair of Chicago 1s, and I'm just really, really happy to have these. I've seen where some people have said that they don't really like the aging on it, that they would prefer like a nice, crispy, clean pair of Jordan 1s, but I think this is done really, really well, and I'm kind of a fan of that vintage look. I got a little bit of a vintage look to myself, you know, being that I'm not super young or anything anymore, but I really, really like the details on these. I like the colors that they used. I really like that cracked effect. It doesn't look too over the top, and I feel like it's done right. The leather feels like it's really good quality, and just everything about these is just perfect to me. Starting with this outsole, you can see that it's got the standard Jordan 1 tread pattern, and it's in that varsity red color. I don't know how well it's coming across on screen, but it does have kind of like a weathered look. I don't know if they put something on top of here to make it look like it's got a little bit of white wash on it or whatever, but it definitely looks like it's a little bit aged. It still has all the tread nice and sharp, and it's definitely a brand new pair of shoes, but they made it look like it's a little bit weathered on the outsole. Aside from that, it's just a standard Jordan 1 outsole, pivot point in the front, Nike branding there at the midfoot, and it's in that classic varsity red color. And looking at the side of the shoe, you can see that that red outsole meets a sail midsole, and again, I think that was a solid choice to go with sail. It helps kind of hammer home that vintage look, just like it's kind of got an aged color as opposed to using that bright white. And it's not over the top, it doesn't look cheesy, it looks classy. On top of them sticking with the theme so well, I still think that this is a very, very wearable shoe, and I'm super pumped to have these. Coming up from that sail midsole, we've got a nice red leather, and you can see that the stitching all matches on those red panels, but all the overlays aside from that black swoosh is this nice smooth leather. It's not super buttery and super soft, but it definitely has a nice feel to it. It feels like it's kind of like a heavy grade, but it's got a real nice look, and you can tell it's definitely good quality material. It reminds me of leather that they would have put on a pair of the Jordan 185s. It's just kind of more of a heavy grade, but it's still really, really good quality. And that color, I just love that varsity red on these. But all the overlays have that aside from this black leather swoosh. On this overlay up by the collar, you can see that Jordan Wings logo. And on this pair, instead of being pressed in, it's kind of raised up. So that's one slight difference. And then, like I said, we've got plain black swooshes, and those are just smooth as well. The cream color, or this sail color that we have for the base, it has more of that cracked effect. Not quite as noticeable as up here on the black leather by the collar, but it still does have a little bit of that cracked effect. And again, it's not way over the top, it's not too much. It really, really looks nice, and it really does help to hammer home that whole idea that these have been lost in a storage room for 30 or 40 years. Hopefully you can see some of that cracked effect down on there. But then, like I already said, we've got more of that crackle effect up here on the black leather around the collar. That's definitely the most noticeable area for that aged look. But again, I really like the way these look. I think they came out really well. There's a good look at that cracked leather up at the top. It came with 2 pairs of laces started in the bottom of the shoe, and I saw an old advertisement, and that's how they came back in the day, so that's why they did that. I'll probably rock the lighter laces in there. I can't tell if they're bright white or if they're sail. I think they might be bright white, but the tongue is just kind of that standard tongue color. It does have an aged look, but I think even in some of the newer ones, you have this off-white looking color for the tongue. But it's just that standard nylon material that we're used to getting on Jordan tongues. The piping going along the edges is an off-white color, and the tag at the top is varsity red, and it's got Nike Air branding on there. It looks like the sock liner is black, and then the insole is white. And one other thing that I wanted to mention, this is my adult pair, this is my personal pair, this is the grade school pair, and the quality on this looks like it is just as good, just as nice as what the adult pair is. So again, just like with the packaging, I was pleased to see that they went all out for the kids pairs like they did with the adult pairs. I think when it comes to the shoes themselves, they really knocked these out of the park as well. So well done, Jordan Brand. I am so pumped that I was able to get a couple pairs of these. It is definitely a pair that I'm keeping in my collection for a long time. I hope you all got a bunch of W's. Let me know if you hit down in the comments. Let me know what you think of these, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.